Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and if you caught my recent live stream, you might have noticed that my new deck that I was playing with is pretty tough. I think I got like 5 wins, 2 losses with it, and one of them was just me forfeiting because I didn't want to play against their deck, because I didn't care about rankings because the season just ended. Well, to help open the new season, I've got a new deck. It's called Black Death, and it is very difficult to beat. I think I've played 30 games with it, maybe a little bit more. Actually, yeah, according to today and yesterday's stats plus the stream, it was a little over 30, and I've won about 75% of them, which is, that doesn't sound like much, but that's good. Like right now against the tier 1 meta, that's pretty good. So with, me just getting set, and probably you too, back to the gold league, or maybe silver, depends how you did. This is a wonderful deck to just absolutely bulldoze through everybody. So there's a damn good reason it's 72 cards. Let me just put it that way. I looked at the meta and I thought, what would universally have a pretty good chance against everything? And the answer to that was a little bit difficult. I thought it was impossible because, what do you do against red blitz in your face, red rush, even honestly plays around life gain versus turn 40, I hope you like my 20 board wipes, 4-color Jason, my library's out, I win bullshit. Like, how do you possibly reconcile those two? Well, you punish them for doing nothing or damn close to it. You have death triggers that benefit you. You have recurring creatures, and then you just absolutely destroy them if they try to also do something. So whether they're doing something or nothing, they're taking damage, and in the meantime, they can't swing at you because you have too many death touchers. That is a deck right there. That is the deck to be playing. It stops virtually everything. I've even beat Mill with this because it's pretty fast, but it doesn't quite have that like black-white afterlife where it doesn't matter how many times they wipe the board, they're going to lose. But usually Mill is mono blue. It's not the best deck right now, honestly. So just beat it. How about that? So this with a sideboard, I can't even imagine. But like I said, there's a darn good reason it's 72 cards, and that's to avoid Mill. That's my Mill defense. It's just to buy myself another couple turns. That's what it is. So to just break into it here, Foulmire Knight, you can draw a card and lose a life. This is all about card draw, keeping it going, just flooding the board, pressing the attack, which is honestly kind of weak in this deck. This is a sit back and let them lose the game for themselves deck. So that's cool for 3, that's nice. And then Death Touch 1/1, there you go. Then we got Hired Poisoner, Death Toucher, only 3 though because Vampire is better. We got Knight of the Ebon Legion just because he's a single-handed game winner for 1. Yeah, I did try to trim this down as much as possible because I didn't want to diffuse Grey Merchant, but this isn't a Grey Merchant deck. There's no resurrecting, there's no recursion bouncing, nothing, none of that. So he's in here, but it's not a Grey Merchant deck because I didn't want it to be. I saw all the search, scry, fetch, graveyard tricks and all this. You're just setting up a big whoop-de-doo thing, and you've got a bunch of double black, garbage that isn't even a good card. You're just there for devotion. It's an all-in combo. Not a very well-rounded deck. It just, I didn't want to build that. But yeah, Knight, honestly, he should have been legendary, and then on top of that, he also should have been banned. So next up, we got Vampire of the Dire Moon, Death Touch Lifelink. That's probably the most useful card in the deck. Then again, there's some doozies up in the 4 slot. So we got Blacklance Paragon. This guy's insane. He entered the game right when the pirate from Ixalan that you flash in and has Death Touch left the game. I love this. Now, he doesn't have persistent Death Touch, but when he enters the battlefield, target knight, so him, gains Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. Now, I believe the other one didn't have Lifelink. So 3/1, that's a lot of damage for 2. Plus he has Flash, which is just pseudo haste. You could just flash it in during their end step, and then ta-da, you can swing with it on your turn. And then Death Touch Lifelink is huge. He doesn't get to keep it, but he would be overpowered as balls if he did. So that ambush, I've had so many people swinging because they're like, well, he's wide open because I swing with a bunch of 1/1 Death Touchers. Of course they're going to let it through. Oh, it's 1 damage, whatever. Yep, and then I've got an empty line and they're like, well, I guess I'll swing with this. Oh, it's dead now. Whoops. Like, we're talking 1/1, those elemental draw things. Oops, you lost it. So 2-cost kill spell. That gains life. If I could put in 3, I would. Then we got Orzhov Enforcer, just Death Touch Afterlife. You got to kill it twice, and it's a sack target for Ayara. Just a damn good card. I could see going 3/1. This isn't the most important, but a double blocker against something really big that doesn't have trample, very, very useful. And it turns into a flying blocker. one time. And, you know, the flyer sometimes kills planeswalkers. You never know. Then we got Smitten Swordmaster. I mean, 2/1 lifelink for 2. That's huge. You know, you really... I got this in the deck because you start pinging yourself for 1 a lot, and you got to make that up. And then the Curry Favor ability is insane. This deck has a few knights. I mean, it's... Usually you hit them for 3 or 4 with this, you know. Nice little drain away for 1. Then we got Tymaret. I mean, he's just so good. He's the tank of the deck. And he's really the stay alive card in general because his toughness is equal to your devotion to black, but then you can pay 2, exile up to 2 cards from graveyards, yours included, and you gain 1 life for each creature card exiled this way. So you can just sit there and pay 2, gain 2 life, pay 2, gain 2 life, pay 2, gain 2 life. So I've dropped him in, wiped out all my swamps, just paying for it once, and 8 life. And that literally turned around the game by itself, and then I've got like a 2/11 blocker. Ouch. Then we got Ayara. I mean, she's in here because she's triple, but she's also drain away. I mean, there's plenty of like high devotion cards that I skipped over because they're just not good enough. I wanted to build a good deck. So, you know, whenever she herself or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, which is the whole deck, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. They could tap her for free and sack a black creature, draw a card. When this was printed and already going to Theros, this was the card, like, during the spoilers where I said, well, obviously they're going to do Devotion next. I mean, this is an out of Theros Devotion card, clear as day. That's why it says black and black under both conditions, and then they gave her triple black. I mean, come on. So she is legendary, so only put 2 in. But yeah, she's great. She can, you know, draw cards in case of emergency. She can do the block and swap. I mean, just everything. Then we got Dav on the haters, Davriel. He's just kind of ping away win. He's not that important, but right now forcing people to discard is really powerful, just generally. So it also takes the focus off your life total because they'll start swinging at him real quick. Then we got Midnight Reaper just to keep it going. This is kind of dangerous because you can't control how many of your creatures die and when, and very few of them are tokens, if any. So, I mean, yeah, you take 1 damage and draw a card, but at least you got a card. Theoretically, that one of those cards that you drew might help you gain some life, maybe, or let you block and stop the damage or something. But yeah, this is dangerous. But, I mean, 3 damage for 3 mana, though. Pretty good. Then we got Murder, just because I needed more kill. Got 3 of those. Then we got Murderous Rider. Duh. Take out a Planeswalker. I mean, whatever. You lose 2 life, though. I mean, watch out. A lot of these cards have a drawback on purpose, and I found myself at very dangerous life levels because of this. Then we got Underworld Dreams. This is one where it's like, yeah, it's triple devotion, but this isn't a Gray Merchant deck. He's in here, but it's not a Gray Merchant deck. It's not a true devotion deck. So whenever they draw a card that deals 1 damage to them, you don't gain any life. So the fact that you don't gain any life, it's just not good. It's just not good. It really isn't. But, I mean, this is the absolute monkey wrench to go into some Esper plus, 3-4 color, just waste your time horseshit deck that just sits there and draws and draws and draws and draws. This stops the fairies deck. I mean, it's just terrible. Anytime where they try to draw too many or they just try to go 20 turns, they're dead. A lot of times they have a way to get rid of this, but they got to draw into it, which is kind of funny if you think about it. So we have Drag to the Underworld. Now this is damn good. I mean, this spell costs 2 almost no matter what. So it's a 2-cost instant speed murder. I mean, there you go. Then we got Ill-Gotten Inheritance. Doesn't come up much. I could pull it, but then I thought, well, for 1 more than Underworld Dreams, even though it's low devotion, you gain 1 life. And it's upkeep, not whether they draw the card, which, I mean, okay. So it's going to go off less often, but you get healed. That is huge. And then if you pay 6, you bomb them for 4. And if this is your only thing left, you can win 4 turns earlier. So I really, really like that. And you can do that in response to them trying to target this to like bounce it or to, nuke it, exile it, whatever. That's just funny to me. So I did throw 1 in. It's high cost. You don't really want it in your opening hand, but it's funny. Another one you really, you could cut, but, man, is this thing good in Pauper, by the way. Doesn't really feel like a common to me, but I think they just really wanted this in draft to show up more often in the pack, so they made it common. That's my thought. Then we got Revenge of Ravens. That card's insane. This compared to Ill-Gotten Inheritance, are you kidding me? Completely different power level. So yeah, whenever a creature attacks, you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's controller loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. If they have an army of 1/1s, they literally cannot win the game with it. They can't even swing with them. And sometimes they're too stupid to realize it and they do it anyway. It doesn't make sense. Even if they have lifelink, it doesn't make sense. Then it's just nothing. It's just a wash. Because they'll swing at you, heal you for 1, and then hit you for 1. And then if you start stacking these over and over and over, which is why I wanted to make a blue, like, aura cloner thing, I kind of made it. It didn't really work, but I might take a second shot at it, just saying. But yeah, this is bad. Like, if you get 3 of them stacked, they can't swing with a 3/3, because they'll swing with the 3/3, and they'll heal me for 3 while hitting themselves for 3. And then they'll hit me for 3 damage. I take 0, they take 3. It's just, there's no point. So one of the most powerful cards in Standard right now. I love it. Then we got Grey Merchant. Of course, he's in there. I mean, come on. And with him being 4 out of 72 instead of 4 out of 60, he tends to show up on time. I mean, remember, guys, he costs 5. So to really run a true Gary deck, you almost need, like, ramp. You need a bunch of, like, double black garbage that isn't very good. You need a bunch of blitzy stuff. It's just... It's weird. The decks are very inconsistent, and I put him in because it's a devotion deck, and he heals you for a ton, he buys you time, but really, like, the rest of the deck wins. All these pingaways, you know, if they're sitting there getting hit by Davriel, Ill-Gotten, Revenge, and Underworld every turn, that 20 is going to go real quick, especially if you just stole 10 from him, and I've just bombed the person for, like, 15 late game. So, yeah, really good card, obviously. I think it's a little too powerful to be printed in Standard. That said, Devotion is so not supported right now. It's pathetic. Like, nobody's playing Devotion. It's so bad. I mean, even White Devotion, barely playable right now because they just kind of, you know, wimped out on it. Compared to, like, Blue Devotion with Master of Waves the original time around, this is nothing, but I'm glad they powered down Devotion because it was really, really, really powerful. It was arguably too powerful the first time. Black Devotion was insane, Blue Devotion was insane, and both those decks people were, like, kind of talking about a ban, and that's before they started banning, you know, 16 cards per 2-year period or whatever. So yeah, it's like I wasn't happy when they printed them, but then it turned out Devotion kind of fell flat on its face. That said, this deck kicks everything's ass, so maybe not. Remember, Devotion's only going to get better with the next 2 sets before rotation. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Then we got Castle Locthwain, draws you cards. Real simple. I mean, pay 3, tap it, draw a card. You're going to lose life, whatever. I mean, in a desperate situation when you're getting hit, this is bad, but you don't have to use it. You know what I mean? Then just 26 lands total, so 26 out of 72. I think it's like 37% land or something. Pretty good for on curve. You only really need to get to 3 to operate the deck, and honestly, it'll work just fine at 1, let alone 2, depending upon what you pull. But yeah, you start getting kill cards and win cards on 3. So you don't really have to get to 4 or 5. You can get stuck on one of these and still win without it. But yeah, let's just get to some gameplay, because I got some pretty hilarious gameplay recorded. So you guys are going to enjoy this. All right, here we go. We're going up against a deck that should be better. It's 1 more color. It's kind of similar and it has more life gain, but, well, spoiler alert, I don't lose with this deck. So, of course, I go second because as I tracked in almost the last 1,000 games, I go first 20% of the time. Thanks, Wizards, for rigging your stupid game because I'm too good at it. So we got the, you know, the 1-drops. 1-drops are always going to lead it. Funeral Rites, that's people should play that card. I'm actually kind of impressed with the way they built this deck. It's a little off the beaten path. A little slow, though. I think he just had a slow start. I don't think the deck's slow, but there's Shatter. I mean, hey. But you've got a big, big, big Grand Canyon between the 1-drops and the 3-drops. And I decide, well, I haven't seen a creature yet. He could drop blue at any time, but I doubt it with what I've seen so far. Let's go with the swing at me and take a damage, even though he has nothing in play. He goes with Dav on the haters, and I'm like, well, I guess I don't need all these Murderous Riders, but I need that one. Bye, Felicia. So he's just sitting there ready to go lifelink. That is just like one of the best cards in black right now. It's just so good. And it's one of those, it's so good, but nobody's like, oh my God, ban it, it's too good. It's like, no, it's just good. It's just a really good card. They just need to print more shit like that. So Tater Tots comes out here. Oh, wait, I think that's what I named Teso or whatever. I don't even remember the real name. Shield guy. His name is Tater Tots, so I don't know what I'm going to call Taste of Karlov. How about Tasty? She could be Tasty. So made me sack one of my enchantments. Cold, but I love that card. I mean, this guy's deck, like, it's legit. I decided to just go Gary first because you don't want to just bomb. Let's, you know, go up to a bomb. I would have lost by then, potentially. It's just, you know, I hit him down to 7. We've got a tick away starting at 7. Go to his turn at 6. I mean, damn, right there. Makes me exile something. Gets rid of Gary so he can swing away. Very smart. Well, I don't know. I would have went with the other one, but I don't remember exactly what the phrasing on that card is. Murderous Rider comes through again. Now you can see if I'm getting hit and I use Murderous to hit him, that's not good. I mean, that's 2 more life. I mean, that's not really going the right way. And you just can't get away from that card. I mean, it's just so good. So he does gain the life off that one. That's pretty nice. I think he actually turns this around really hard. Yeah, revenge. Now it's 7-4. I think I lost half my life total and he gained that amount or something. So I'm like, we got to stop this. So as much as, Tasty's a really good card there, so I just bounced my Midnight off of that. I just can't have him gaining life with Daxos. That's what it came down to. So naturally he cast another Daxos. So I'm like, well, then he cast Revenge. That's just mean. I think I top deck a Gary or something. I don't remember. I don't remember how I end up winning this. Is that or he just leaves and disconnects? This was a weird match. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm like, let's get rid of everything that's a creature. I need some life, which is 1, unfortunately. But, hey, whatever. So I got a 2/9 tank out there, so he ain't getting through. Can't really swing for the life gain. Don't need it at 10-3, and I would just lose my creature. I can't kill either of them. It would just be gain 2 life. I think he forfeits, does he? Yeah, he goes for the card draw. I would have kept it going. I mean, I guess. I mean, if I would have overswung, he would have just lost. So, okay, maybe not, but yeah. So I just barely won that. I mean, he had a couple cards in hand. He just didn't draw what he needed, but I think I would have won that in the end due to the tick away. It's just too good. So even against partially a life gain deck, even though he kind of drew garbage and it was a slow version, I just stomped him. So next game. So let's just take everything in tier 1 and just embarrass it. Obviously, I'm going second. Again, this is a Nissa Simic Nightmare deck. I don't remember what end game it is. Honestly, I think I beat it too quick. So yeah, the Death Touch Rush comes out early. It wasn't a true counterspell there. It was just drawn. Yeah, I think this is one of those just Hydroid Krasis dump mana into something, maybe untap decks, but he never gets the untap card. I don't know. Kind of transparent there, holding on to 4 mana, mostly blue, and doing nothing with 5 cards in hand while hovering over your hand. So I throw this out because I'm like, okay, if I lose, I'm going to lose quick. So he does go get Growth Spiral, though. So it turns out he doesn't actually have a counterspell of any kind. If he did, that would be the target. So I wanted to kind of ping him with that a little bit because I can do more damage with Revenge. So I thought, okay, let's get that out of the way and see what happens. So I'm pretty happy with how that went down. So he goes for Nissa, who's shaking that ass. And she brings out a land. That's a big mistake, it turns out. I mean, against a line of Death Touchers, I think, first of all, I just blow her up. And I think, the next turn, I just blow the land up. Ouch. A lot of removal in this deck. I mean, I've seen more. I've seen black decks, especially black-white mixed decks that run more, but this has just enough to just take out the threats that I just give a crap about. And you got to know when to take the hits, when to just say, it's a 2/2, it's a 3/3, whatever. I've got life gain, he's lower than me, or he's about to be lower than me. I'm going to win this. I'm just going to take the hit. This one, it was just too funny. I had to do it. It's like my last kill spell, but that was some funny shit. So I'm going for the Blitz now. So that's 5 damage right there, and he's at 11, and now he's at 10. I mean, he sees the writing on the wall. All right, I just labeled this file epic !MP4. So let's see what happens. Oh, look, I'm not going first. What the hell? All right, so Red Rush versus Death Touchers. This is going to go well. All right. I think he shocks it. This guy's a slow-playing asshole, so that's nice. I just send it. I'm just like, whatever. I probably shouldn't have because it doesn't have lifelink, but I wanted him... Oh, that's right. I wanted him to run into my Blacklance. So, yeah, he shocks that now, so that tells me he only has 1 shock, and that's what he top-decked. You can tell a lot. If you were to go back in the footage and figure out what he did and didn't do and what he did and didn't cast, you know that he has a really weird, not fast open. So he casts Infuriate. I don't get it. Okay, 23-19. If you're gonna copy a deck off the internet like an asshole, learn how to play it. Learn how to do basic math. So you might have noticed that almost all these players are like either their deck did terribly or they are terrible at the game. So I went for the card draw because he's going to be slow as shit and he was almost out of cards. So, hey, worked out. I like that lineup. So Chandra's Pyrohelix. Okay, not many people play that. I'm going up against some weird shit, honestly. This is odd. Every time I cast that, it drops my kill spell on the left there to 1 lower. So that's why I'm doing it. So that I'm technically holding on to 2 instant speed kill spells, but he keeps Pyrohelixing me. So annoying. Then we got Krenko. Okay, nice last ditch effort, except I blew him up. I think it even says nice, because that's like, I mean, look how many cards I had in hand. He misplayed that. He had a terrible open. He shouldn't have kept it, and his deck's built a little funny. But good for him for going off the beaten path. There's Embercleave, so you can go off the beaten path and get hit by a 1/1. So he says good game when it's 20-18, and I only have like defensive cards. That's feels a little early to me, but I do wonder if he's spying on the cards in my hand, because that seemed like a really odd time to say that. Maybe he just assumed the game was over, but I mean, like 1 Krenko and then equip it, or a Torbrand, hello, and he could turn this around real quick. I mean, I would just camp on a 1/1 forever, but he could just start piling cards. He doesn't know. Drop Gary. Good time to drop him. That's why this isn't a Gary deck. This isn't a Gary and win deck. This isn't a recursion Gary deck. It's just, I went up 5, he went down 5. Let's keep the game going. That's what he does. That's why he's in the deck. And you might have noticed I have another one. I'm getting damn good draws this game. Like, none of the games were particularly fair or against like top opponents, but that just happens to be what I recorded. I went up against some hard opponents and I just kicked him square in the balls. So at least he was polite. I mean, this guy's a pretty good player. Oh, Infuriate. That's a classy move where you boost your opponent's creature because screw it. I thought I was the only one who did that. So I just straight up got those 5 wins in a row. I haven't actually lost yet today. So after the reset, I'm just like, let's go. Let's just record whatever the hell happens. And that's what happened. So this deck list is just absolutely fantastic. It reminds me of the old German saying, this goes way back. I think this is from one of those original fairy tales. It's, Hast du etwas Zeit für mich? Dann sing ich ein Lied für dich. Van 9 und 9 Luftballons. Und das sowas van sowas kommt. That's deep. I think that was from Hansel and Gretel. I'm so sure I pronounced that correctly. So anyway, check this out. For all the dumbasses who still say, isn't this net decking? No, copying the top tournament results because you think it's the top deck in the world and playing it because you're an asshole who only cares about winning and not fun, that's net decking. Finding a deck that looks kind of fun that you want to play on the internet that looks somewhat competitive but like whatever, and then playing with that, not net decking. That's just being too lazy to build a deck. Which, if you are, it's in the description. As soon as I forget to put it there and somebody reminds me in a comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.